Hey guys, Steve from Bahnstormers, the classic BMW restoration specialist. I'm here meeting a friend of mine today, Tom from Supercharged Media, and always a stickler for content. We're doing a one take on this M5. This is DC91 car 38, which for those who know is quite a famous car. We bought this car. I was actually offered it initially as a parts car. I was offered several, and I bought two, this one and an M535i. The M535i sold quite quickly, and I believe it's gone off to Eastern Europe. But this car, once we got it back to the workshop and we saw how good it was, we just couldn't break it. It was so rust free, lots and lots of new parts on it. So we started to put it back together again and took it for a drive, and then we thought we'd give it the option. We put it up for sale to see if anybody wanted to save it. Thankfully for car 38, they did. So a great client saw it, fell in love with it, and really wanted a green M5, but they didn't make that many of them. He really wanted an emerald green M5, and I'm not sure they made any of those. So this car had a precedence to be green based on its history, and yeah, a green M5 is what we built. So it wasn't in bad condition to start off with. It was, as I say, its major redeeming factor was the fact it was rust free. The engine had been rebuilt as well, and although we pulled the engine because we discovered it had a bit of oil leaking past the valve stem seal, so we thought better pull it and just make sure. And it's a good thing we did, because there was actually a few things that hadn't been done particularly well. The car is in a made-up colour. A lot of people think it is emerald green, but it's not. It is a colour that was made up specifically for its use. With some very clever technology, we managed to find an area of the green paint and reproduce it. The car had been covered over in primer to sort of hide its identity. And after some painstaking work from the fabricators, straightened out the creases and the dings. We also jigged this car. Given its history, we thought it'd be a good idea to be sure from the beginning that it was all straight. So we sent it out to one of our body shops. They stuck it on their jig and confirmed that it was straight, so all within factory tolerances, which was good. There had been some previous not fantastic repairs in the engine bay, so that kept the fab boys busy with a big wheel arch repair to do. There was some damage to the spare wheel tub, various quick release modifications that needed to be undone, all of which we have done. So can't show you under the car at the moment, obviously, but it is completely standard under there. The major area of concern was this front corner. The front wing that was on it when it first arrived fitted like absolute dog poo. It was awful. So a lot of time taken measuring and ensuring. So we cut out the repairs that had been done, redid them, and yeah, our head fabricator spent an awful lot of time measuring and confirming straightness. But yeah, everything fits perfectly now: doors, wings, airbox. So we've replaced the slam panel, the tray under the airbox, and some of the inner wing that side. But yeah, the engine bays had a sort of, well, I guess you would say a sympathetic restoration or detail. The owner didn't want to go mad, but we plated the catches, we cleaned up the engine whilst we had it out. We've also put some strict cams in this, and the ECU's been chipped, so it does go really rather well. Got to do things like replace the washer hose. It's just, oh, can't bear old washer hose. But a lot of the plastics had been done by the previous owner. I believe the car was restored in 2016 or around that time. There's certainly photographs of it on the internet that would suggest that. All the ABS has been ripped out of this car. All the brake pipes have been just sliced at the back here, and just looped, so assumedly they could make it easier to have a bit of fun with it. So we put all the original features back in again. ABS, so on and so on and so on. Underneath it's been completely rebushed, standard classic Bahnstormers restoration stuff, complete rebush, all new brakes, all new everything, and it drives perfectly. So let's take it for a drive.
That's a nice one, sir.
Thank you.
Years ago, there used to be the big BMW garage down at Morton on the cross.
Oh yeah.
With Jerry Tyack.
Oh right. Yeah, I must confess I don't know this part of the world, but well, sorry, I do, but not from long ago. But yeah, this car was used as a, what we believe, I can't actually, ironically I can't actually prove it, although the internet would tell you this car was used in as a stunt car in one of the Mission Impossible films. Really? Yeah, I can't. The irony is we can't prove it, but the folklore would support the claim.
Well, a mate of mine, he used to have the 8-cylinder BMW.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the V8s. Yeah, nice car.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was in a very sort of state when it first arrived.
I don't like the new BMW. I think they're horrible.
No, me neither. My interest kind of runs out with 39, but there you go. Nice talking to you.
Take care.
Cheers. So, let's go driving. Right, don't judge us too harshly. I didn't have time to clean it, inside or out. Here we go. You probably don't need sunglasses now. So we didn't keep much from the original build, but one of the things, the client liked the exhaust, so we kept it. Let's go this way. Yeah, the client liked the exhaust, so we kept it. It's also on coilovers, this car. It basically had underneath brand new everything's on it anyway. Coilover suspensions, BC racing stuff, bushes, all the arms, all the ball joints were new. Unfortunately, I guess they'd sat around, so some of the boots were looking a bit untidy, so we replaced those. We've a few little creature comforts. We fitted Blaupin Bremen SQR. There's a bloke looking at the car then. He fell over. I hope he's alright. We've had all the interior recolonised. So this car, I don't think it didn't originally come with extended leather, but that's what was in it when it arrived. So we've stuck with that theme. We've had all the leather recolonised. Being a DC91 car, it's got a black headliner in it. We've had all the lower dash panels done. The handbrake console was damaged, so we had to get another one and have it retrimmed. The centre console as well was damaged, so we got another one and had it retrimmed. I have to say, finding that some of the left-hand drive parts proved a challenge. There was no carpet in here or anything like that. So, luckily though, we've got good contacts everywhere, I suppose, now. And they are all their normal, useful, helpful cells. Glass, all the glass is original. We were quite surprised to discover that a lot of stuff, although it was unplugged, did work. The mirrors, we plugged them in, worked. All the windows, central locking, lights. There were some electrical repairs to do, mostly because the beams have been damaged and things like that. But yeah, instrument cluster. There was no rev counter in it when it first arrived. It's got a bit of a mishmash, I think. It's got a US fuel gauge in it, although I'd happily be corrected on that. It did have a kilometer speedo in it, but we changed it. That's the original speedo, so we just changed the face just to make it a little bit easier for UK to use it UK. It retains its original M logoed rev counter, with a little bit of fettle from our fabulous technicians. We've got everything working as it should. I have to say, this project, there was in the end quite a lot of bodywork done, but this project probably really owes its success to the technicians. They have done a fantastic job of it. mechanically. I mean, so it's just clocked over to 700 miles, which is a bit longer than our normal shakedown process. We had a running issue with it, an idle issue where it was hunting, and it was an absolute bugger to solve. The guys, painstakingly gone through it, poring over it, checking everything. So as part of the restoration process, we fitted all sorts of new parts, vacuum lines, injectors, cold start, had the car rolling road, tuned. Can't remember what they said it was making, but it was pretty dang close to the original figures. I'm sure it was about 265. So yeah, and as you'll see, it does go rather well. I'm sure we ought to put that bit on YouTube, but there you go. Yeah, it does go rather well. I'll give it the beans going up the hill later. But yeah, this running foal, what a nightmare. Just hunting, sounding like a 70s drag car about to do a quarter of a mile. But through painstaking diagnosis of the old school multimeter breaking out the manual's type, the guys were able to eventually work out what was wrong with it. Despite having been rolling roaded, despite having set the throttles up, despite having used the manometer to balance it all, what we eventually discovered was we had vacuum leaks in the throttle because whoever had previously rebuilt them had put the butterflies in back to front, so they just weren't seen. But yeah, it does go rather well, despite looking quite standard on its suspension. It handles like it's absolutely on rails. So what do you think, cameraman Tom?
Yeah, it's a work of art, mate. Love the paint. I think that the green with the wheels is a really unique kind of OEM plus look, and drives well. Interior is immaculate. Smells like a new car. Sounds just like really kind of distinctive. You just don't get that in a modern car. Yeah, I love it. I think it's one of your best pieces of work, mate. Fair play to the owner. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'd say
anyone who can, has the funds and the patience and the dedication to build a car like this has my respect. I'm sure whatever he does very well. And yeah, we need more people with that dedication to cars, because it makes it more interesting for people like myself who, yeah.
Yeah, I have to say the owner has been a fantastic chap to work with. Focused on getting the best possible end product.
I mean, it feels like he's basically just rebuilt. It feels like a brand new car, essentially.
Yeah.
Everything seems basically perfect.
Yeah, it's not far off. So, normal Bahnstormers standard, I suppose. But we are extremely lucky to have clients who value the same things that we value. Which is we just want to do it right. At the end of the day, that's all we want. We want it right. You'll never ever get your car back and think it's such a shame I spent so much time and effort in getting it right. Yeah, we have had a few curveballs. The prop shaft, for instance. When we first put the car back together, we didn't notice that the prop shaft wasn't the right one. Now, in all fairness to us, they do all look rather alike. It was only when we took the heat shield down so we could see it properly that we realised somebody had extended it in the middle, and it was actually pretty dangerous. It was probably about it was beyond a sensible extension, that's for sure. And yeah, it was a part that is M88 specific that we had to source. And I think a lot of people may at that point have just said, well, it was in there and it was working, so let's just stick with this one. But the owner of this car, like us, wanted it right. So yeah, we're absolute hats off to him. And
Is it quite unusual, Steve, to have an owner who, with like, to get a car of this standard, those sorts of budgets, is that quite unusual for classic BMW restoration to get a car of this finish? Because I assume normally do people just like selectively do a few things, i.e. like a mechanical restoration, but not like necessarily the interior as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a lot of people doing a restoration, I suppose this level would be obtainable. Me personally, it would be. But we do quite a few now as the videos. I think one of the great things about, there's a lot of things in the world that aren't great at the moment, but I suppose one of the things that is great about the world is that, you know, there's a lot more emphasis on doing something because you love it. I can't say, I would imagine most people have to do, you know, have to consider these things are become an asset. There are really only kind of two ways to do it. You do it because for the love of it and you enjoy it, and quite frankly, you know, restorations done as a bottom line exercise very rarely work out to be happy. So I think if you're going to undertake something like this, you've got to really want to do it. And I can't say that, you know, money no object, because of course it is. At the end of the day, we can't work for free, and you know, and things cost. But I kind of say what I always say: if you do a restoration, you've got complete control. And certainly through us, we do restorations in phases. We're doing an E30 touring at the moment. That is being done. I think it's about to enter its third or fourth phase. You know, we do some work. The guy comes to us with a budget. We do some work. We get to a specific point where it's sustainable to wrap the project up and it's not going to deteriorate. We pack it all up. He takes it back until he's saved up again, and then away we go again. So
that's interesting. So it makes it like more manageable for the client.
Oh yeah, you know, there's
I guess you have clear understanding on what is happening as well if you break it down into little phases as well.
Indeed. So yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I think, you know, if you're going to do a restoration, you kind of really got to do it aim for standard, like this guy has with this car. I mean, this car is stellar. I mean, the paint, I think a lot of people have seen it. I've had one person that didn't like it. Ironically, the person who didn't like it was retired, but he paints cars for a living. You would have thought
the paint's my favourite thing. Should we get out and do this conclusion outside and see the outside of the car once again?
Yeah.
I disagree. I think the paint is amazing.
Well, he is in a minority. Literally, the only single person I've come across who doesn't love it.
No,
I love it.
It is amazing. I'm biased having it. Oh, sorry, do you want to close that properly, mate? I'm biased having a green car myself, but I just want to shake the owner's hand and buy him a pint, just solely for the choice of colour and wheels.
Well, I think that, you know, the guy who's done this car is going to be using it. I'm sure we'll see it. You know, people will see it around. I'm sure it's appreciate people buying him a pint. So, but yeah, you know, the colour is beautiful. It has no name. We've come up with loads of names for it, but I think what we're going to go with is Bahnstormers Green. So you'll only be able to get this colour from us. Kind of playing on the Alpina blue, Alpina green. So this is Bahnstormers Green. It's a beautiful car. We're very proud of it. Hats off to the Classic Bahnstormers team, everyone at Classic Bahnstormers. I think in particular the patience of the technicians has been saint-like, and it shows their determination to turn out the correct product. So thank you for watching another Bahnstormers video. We're very proud of this one. Drink it in.